And Caitlin knows where Aliyah Boston's going to be. Aliyah Boston knows where Caitlin's going to be.
Caitlin and Aliyah have almost a poetic pick and roll action going all the time. Caitlin can already find her teammates, but just the fluidity between her and Aliyah, it's like they're on a different wavelength now.
Remember when rookies and sophomores were supposed to fade in the playoffs? Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston didn't get that memo. These two just pulled off feats that even WNBA legends couldn't match at their age. This duo just became the youngest to ever achieve these feats at an age of 22. Want to know how they shocked the basketball world? Keep watching. Clark and Boston didn't just break records, they shattered them. Clark became the youngest player ever to score 25-plus points in an elimination game, surpassing the great Cynthia Cooper. Boston? She's now the youngest to grab 15 points and 15 rebounds in a playoff game. These aren't just numbers, they're statements.
Clark lobbing it beautifully to Boston.
But how did they do it? Fresh faces, facing seasoned pros, the pressure was immense. Yet they rose to the challenge. From a 1-8 season start to playoff history, their journey is one for the books. We're about to witness a transformation, not just of two players, but of an entire franchise and maybe even the league itself. Before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? The future is red hot. The future is fever.
Conversation, and I love Aliyah Boston pouring into this young rookie. It's supposed to be hard. This is an adjustment period, and Aliyah making sure that her rookie knows we have your back. I love that leadership from Aliyah Boston.
From college superstar to WNBA rookie, Caitlin Clark faced expectations as high as her three-point arc. But her first pro season wasn't all highlight reels. There's a part of her story that might surprise even her biggest fans. Clark's entry into the WNBA was nothing short of a media frenzy. The hype was real, but so was the pressure. As she stepped onto the court for the Indiana Fever, all eyes were on her, waiting to see if she could translate her college success to the pro level. The regular season was a roller coaster of learning experiences, adjustments, and flashes of brilliance.
But make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is doing things beyond her years.
Then came the playoffs against the Connecticut Sun. Clark's debut was a masterclass in all-around play. In Game 1, she put up 11 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. It might not sound earth-shattering at first, but here's the reality. Only 2 other players in WNBA history have achieved this stat line in a playoff game. We're talking about Candace Parker in 2017 and Courtney Vandersloot in 2021. Clark joined this elite company in her very first postseason appearance. Not even the 2 veterans were able to do this during their freshman year, but Clark wasn't done making history. In Game 2, with elimination on the line, she exploded for 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. This performance etched her name in the record books as the youngest player ever to score 25 or more points in a do-or-die playoff game. The previous record holder? None other than WNBA legend Cynthia Cooper, who set the mark back in 1997 at the age of 34. Clark shattered this record at just 22 years old.
I'm just very lucky to be in this moment.
Caitlin Clark moving.
What's truly remarkable is how Clark handled the immense pressure. After the playoff loss, she showed maturity beyond her years, saying,
like AB said, it's a good little taste of, what's possible for this organization and for this franchise. And there's a lot for us to, hold our heads high about. This team won 5 games 2 years ago. So we're a young group, a pretty inexperienced group. But we came together and I had a lot of fun playing with one another.
This mindset is transforming not just Clark's game, but the entire Fever franchise. The impact is tangible. Fever attendance skyrocketed from about 200,000 to almost 650,000 in a single year. Playoff ticket prices for Clark's games surpassed those of the 2023 WNBA Finals. Clark's presence is redefining what's possible for a player in the WNBA. She's not just playing the game, she's changing it. Her ability to create plays, score under pressure, and elevate her teammates is breathing new life into a franchise that had been struggling.
I believe by the end of the year, she generated the most points in the WNBA, which is wild. Last night, I think she accounted for 45 points. What she has done, being cool, calm, collected, even though she wears her emotions on her sleeve, has just captivated not only just women's basketball, but the world of women's sports.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In Game 1 of the playoffs, mired with an eye-poke controversy, Clark struggled with her shot, going 4 of 17 from the field. Yet even on an off night, her playmaking shone through with those 8 assists. It's this versatility, the ability to impact the game in multiple ways, that sets Clark apart. The Connecticut Sun might have won the series, but Clark's performances sent a clear message. She's here to compete at the highest level, and she's just getting started. Her debut season, capped off by these historic playoff performances, isn't just a personal triumph. It's a glimpse into the future of the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
Look, she came into the WNBA with great expectations. We witnessed her become the most impactful player that we've seen in a generation. And it's a combination of both on and off the court. Off the court, attendance, viewership. On the court, her prolific scoring and also assists. Guess what? At the end of her rookie campaign, we can say the same damn thing, y'all, about what she has accomplished. It's amazing.
Clark's brilliance lit up the court. But she wasn't alone in making history. Behind the scenes, another fresh face was silently shattering expectations. Remember Aliyah Boston? The top draft pick in 2023 started her WNBA career on shaky ground. Then something clicked, and the league wasn't ready for what came next. As the #1 overall pick in the 2023 WNBA draft, Aliyah Boston faced immense pressure from day one. The Indiana Fever pinned their hopes on the young forward, a former NCAA Most Outstanding Player and Division I champion, to turn things around. But the transition from college superstar to WNBA pro isn't always smooth sailing. Boston's early days with the Fever were a roller coaster. The team struggled to find its footing, and Boston grappled with the intense physicality of the pro game. Fans and critics alike began to wonder if the hype surrounding the top pick was justified. But those who doubted Boston were in for a surprise.
I mean, Aliyah is probably one of the hardest working players that I've ever been around. She is, everything about her. Wants to be better, wants to be great, and she does not take any of that for granted. I mean, she works at her craft, and when you do that, a lot of times basketball will repay you, and this is one of the ways.
The 2024 Olympic break proved to be a turning point for Boston. Something changed during that time off. Maybe it was a chance to catch her breath, to study the game, or to fine-tune her skills. Whatever the reason, when Boston returned to the court, she was a different player. Post-Olympic break, Boston unleashed her true potential. Her confidence soared, and her impact on the game became undeniable. She started dominating the paint, grabbing rebounds, and scoring with efficiency that made opponents take notice. This wasn't just a good sophomore finding her groove. This was a star in the making. Then came the playoffs against Connecticut, and Boston chose the biggest stage to make her loudest statement yet. In her playoff debut in Game 1, she put up a staggering 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks. To put that into perspective, only 2 other players in WNBA history have matched or exceeded these numbers in their playoff debut: Liz Cambage and Lisa Leslie. That's elite company for a rookie. But Boston wasn't done rewriting the history books. In Game 2, she became the youngest player ever to record 15 points and 15 rebounds in a playoff game. At just 22 years old, Boston was out-rebounding veterans and leaving her mark on the league, showing immense potential for the future.
You're gonna be amazing because you are amazing.
Thank you too.
What makes Boston's achievements even more impressive is how she complements Caitlin Clark's game. While Clark dazzles with her long-range shooting and flashy passes, Boston anchors the team in the paint. It's a 1-2 punch that has the potential to reshape the Fever's future. And let's not forget the elite and consistent play of Kelsey Mitchell and the red-hot shooting of Lexi Hull. Both have shined in their own rights during the season, a topic we just covered in a separate feature on the channel, so come check it out. In fact, the entire team did. Boston's teammate, Caitlin Clark, couldn't help but sing her praises.
She's a dog. She's all over the glass. Came up with clutch buckets, tied it for us. Solid in overtime.
This mutual respect and admiration between the 2 young stars bodes well for the Fever's chemistry and future success. The impact of Boston's growth extends far beyond her individual stats. Her emergence as a dominant force in the paint has transformed the Fever's identity. They now boast a formidable inside-out game that keeps opponents guessing. Boston's journey from a rocky start to playoff dominance is a testament to her resilience and work ethic. It's a reminder that greatness doesn't always announce itself immediately. Sometimes it builds quietly, erupting when the stakes are highest. The final buzzer sounded on the Fever's season, but it marked the beginning of something far more significant. Records weren't just broken, they were shattered. What happened during this series that has the WNBA bracing for a new era? The Fever vs. Sun playoff series was more than just a basketball matchup. It was a clash of eras, with the young upstarts of Indiana challenging the established powerhouse of Connecticut. The atmosphere was electric, fans packed the stands, and the energy was palpable. This wasn't just another playoff series. It was a glimpse into the future of the WNBA.
Like I've said, I take a lot of pride in being able to do a lot of different things for this team. I want to be able to, I think we're really good when I can get the ball off the glass and just go in transition and find my teammates and set them up. But obviously 13 assists, that means my teammates made 13 shots off my passes. So that goes to them.
At the center of it all were Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston, two young stars who refused to be intimidated by the bright lights of the postseason. Their individual performances were impressive, but something even more significant was happening. The entire Indiana Fever team was transforming before our eyes. The way the Fever played, the energy they brought to the court, and the way they pushed the favored Sun to the brink in Game 2. It all pointed to a team on the rise. Clark's ability to create plays and Boston's dominance in the paint were complemented by the veteran leadership of players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull. The result was a team that looked nothing like the struggling Fever of seasons past. The loss to Connecticut might sting, but it's clear that this playoff run was just the beginning. Clark, Boston, and the rest of the Fever have shown they can't just compete, but excel at the highest level. Their performances have set a new standard for what rookie and sophomore players can achieve in the postseason. Looking ahead, the future is blindingly bright for the Fever. They've got two young superstars who are only going to get better. They have a solid, fabulous four in Clark, Boston, Mitchell, and Hull. They've proven they can hang with the league's best teams, and perhaps most importantly, they've captured the imagination of basketball fans everywhere. But the impact of this playoff run goes beyond just the Fever. The entire WNBA is taking notice. The league has always had stars, but Clark's electrifying play is something special. The Fever aren't just great players. They're marketable, charismatic, and relatable. In short, they're the kind of stars that can help take the WNBA to new heights. The coming seasons promise to be exciting. Will the Fever build on this momentum and become a perennial contender? How will other teams respond to the challenge posed by Clark, Boston, and the rest of Indiana? And what new records will these young stars set as they continue to develop? One thing's for sure, the WNBA landscape is changing. The Fever's playoff run, led by their Fab Four, has shown that the future of the league is in good hands. It's not just about individual achievements anymore. It's about transforming team cultures, elevating the level of play across the board, and growing the game's popularity. From college superstars to WNBA record breakers, Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston have taken the league by storm. Their journey wasn't just about personal glory. It's reshaping the entire landscape of women's basketball. These young queens aren't just putting up numbers. They're inspiring a whole new generation. As Clark said, you have to give yourself a lot of grace. You've got to work for it every day. That mindset is catching fire, showing young players that with dedication, anything's possible. The WNBA is entering a new era, and fans should be pumped. Next season, watch how Clark, Boston, and the rest of the team continue to evolve. Will they lead the Fever to new heights? How will other teams respond? One thing's for sure. With this team lighting up the court, the future of the WNBA is brighter than ever. And it's only just begun. Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out on the latest news. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.